it is rightly said that life is a combination of processes which are rhythmically and harmoniously working with each other, which are called life processes. So, I, Dipika Sorathia from Gromo, address each and every student to have their initial step towards this chapter. Now, what can you say about this image? You will classify this image into living and non-living. Okay, तो इनमें हम कह सकते हैं कि the children playing, the tree, the bird sitting in the tree, they all are living. While in the case of the seesaw, the slide, a hut, the clouds, the sky, they all are non-living. लेकिन अगर मैं ये पूछूं कि if the children are sleeping, तो क्या वो living है? Obviously yes. इसका रीज़न आप ये कहोगे कि they are still breathing, okay, they are having still some thoughts in their mind, okay, so on these basis you will say that they are living. तो इससे हम conclude कर सकते हैं कि there are definite processes which are going on inside a thing, जिसके हिसाब से उस thing को आप living define कर सकते हो. तो let's see what are those such definite processes. So various functions carried out by living beings which are necessary to maintain and continue the life, they are called life processes. Now among the life processes as described below, nutrition, transportation, respiration, excretion and reproduction, we are going to have a detailed study about them. And regarding the subsidiary processes, synthesis. Now what is synthesis? Now synthesis is a process by which smaller, simpler substances are combined chemically to form large and more complex substances. Regarding growth, it is a process by which living things increase in size or cell number. And regarding regulation, it is a process where every living organism has a control and coordination regarding their activities, and in animals, the nervous system and the endocrine system regulate the metabolic activities. All these life processes together gives you a metabolic body. Now, how do the living things get the food? Now, we all know that living things, they get their food or energy to maintain the lifespan. But not all living things get their energy from the same biotic or abiotic factors. जो producers होते हैं, they can prepare their own food using sunlight, water, minerals from the soil. जो consumers होते हैं, they take their food from the outside source. फिर चाहे वो plants हो सकते हैं या कोई animals हो सकते हैं. But decomposers, they get their energy from the dead and decaying matter. So based on the feeding methods, living organisms are classified into autotrophs and heterotrophs. या आप कह सकते हैं they are self feeding or other source feeding. ठीक है, अब जो organisms जो अपना खाना खुद बना सकते हैं from the organic molecules, okay, they are called the producers, while the organisms which derive energy from other living organisms, उनको दो कैटेगरी में क्लासीफाई किया गया है. They are the consumers and the decomposers. Okay, now let's talk about the producers. Now talking about producers, we are having photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. The phenomena it is called photoautotrophy or the chemoautotrophy. अब photoautotrophs के बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो they are the green plants and phytoplanktons or the algae. They can prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. लेकिन अगर हम chemoautotrophs की बात करें, so they are the deep sea chemosynthetic bacteria. अब ये जो बैक्टीरिया होता है, they prepare their own food using chemicals deep inside the sea rather than sunlight. Okay, now talking about the consumers and decomposers. In case of consumers, they used to take the organic matter which is living or recently killed. Okay, they are the consumers. उसमें भी दो क्लासिफिकेशन किया गया है, primary eating producers and secondary eat other consumers. Okay, in primary eat producers we are having herbivorous, and secondary eat other consumers we are having carnivorous and omnivorous. Now talking about decomposers, they derive their energy from non-living organic matter. इनको भी दो कैटेगरी में क्लासिफाई किया गया है. Detritivorous, which ingest non-living organic matter, example earthworms and woodlice. And second, saprotrophs, which lives in or non-living organic matter, secreting digestive enzymes into it and absorbing digestive products, example bacteria and fungi. Autotrophic nutrition is a process in which organisms produces their own food from the simple inorganic materials such as water, carbon dioxide and mineral salts in the presence of sunlight. They make their own food with the help of the water, solar energy and carbon dioxide by the method of photosynthesis. नीचे आपको इक्वेशन दिया गया है photosynthesis का, and on the right hand side you can very clearly see how carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water which is taken by the roots of the plant, sunlight falls on the leaves, and together with the help of chlorophyll in the leaves of plant, all they react together to form carbohydrates and oxygen. Now let's observe the entire process of photosynthesis looking to this video.
The amazing process of photosynthesis. A look around at nature is an absolute treat to our senses. We all enjoy the colors and fragrance of plants, but seem to forget about their important contribution. Plants are an absolute necessity for life on Earth. It is so because of the process of photosynthesis. A closer look at a plant shows that it is firmly held in the soil by the help of roots. These roots absorb water from the soil and through the tiny tubes transport it to the stem and then to the leaves. The stem holds the leaves in such a way that they absorb maximum energy from sunlight. A leaf is a very important part of the plant. Photosynthesis, the ultimate provider of food and oxygen, occurs in the leaf. A leaf consists of a flat, thin lamina, which is joined to the stem by a petiole. The flattened lamina provides large surface area for trapping sunlight. A cross-section of the leaf shows the upper and lower layers of cells, which are flat and irregular. Below the upper layer is the layer of tightly packed cells. These cells have specialized organelles called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts contain the pigment chlorophyll, which gives the green color to the leaf. The next layer has loosely arranged cells with large air spaces. The section also shows tubes specific for transporting the absorbed water into the leaves. The lower layer has many pores called stomata. Each stoma is surrounded by two guard cells, which regulate opening and closing of the stomata. A leaf absorbs carbon dioxide from the environment through these stomata, which after passing through air spaces, enter into the chlorophyll-containing cells. Both water and carbon dioxide molecules are finally absorbed by the chloroplast. These chloroplasts also have the capacity for trapping energy from sunlight. And this energy is used to synthesize glucose and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water. These oxygen and glucose molecules diffuse out of the chloroplast. The glucose is transported through other specialized tubes to all parts of the plant, aiding in their growth. The oxygen present in these air spaces diffuses out through the stomata. So, during photosynthesis, oxygen is given as the life-sustaining gaseous component of the atmosphere, while glucose or food is transported to all parts of the plant and used for growth.
Now in the following image, you can very clearly see stomata opens during the daytime so that carbon dioxide can easily enter inside the cell or inside the leaf, while at night stomata gets closed so that there is no gaseous exchange. Now let's perform another activity to indicate the presence of starch in leaf.
Plants produce sugar during photosynthesis. This sugar is stored in the leaves as starch. To test the leaf for starch, the first step is to kill the leaf. The leaf is killed by immersing it in boiling water for a few minutes. The flame is turned off and the leaf is removed. The leaf is then placed in a boiling tube of alcohol. The boiling tube is then placed into a beaker of hot water. The alcohol begins to boil and the leaf slowly loses its green color. The alcohol is poured away. The leaf is then placed back into the hot water. This is to soften it. The leaf is placed on a white tile. The iodine test for starch can now be carried out. The leaf is stained dark blue. This indicates the presence of starch.
Let's perform an activity to show carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis.
Potassium hydroxide experiment. A potted plant's two identical leaves are put individually to two conical flasks, where one contains water and the other contains potassium hydroxide, in a way that there won't be any air connection with outside. With the influence of sunlight, the leaf in the flask with water takes the carbon dioxide it needs to photosynthesize from the air in the conical flask. Meanwhile, the leaf in the other flask cannot find the carbon dioxide it needs to photosynthesize because the potassium hydroxide holds the carbon dioxide molecules. In order to understand whether the leaves photosynthesize or not, they are plucked out and left in hot water for 5 minutes. This procedure is done in order to increase the effect of ethanol in the next step. Later on, its chlorophylls are separated by putting the leaf in ethanol that is seated in hot water bath. The leaves removed from the ethanol is once more placed into hot water in order to be cleansed from the ethanol remainings. With these procedures, it becomes easier to detect starch. In the next step, starch's indicator iodine is dropped on the leaf. No color change occurs on the leaf with no starch synthesis due to the presence of potassium hydroxides. On the other hand, blue-black color forms with the effect of iodine. This is because iodine turns blue-black in the presence of starch.
So here heterotrophic nutrition is defined as the nutrition obtained by digesting organic compounds. Animals, fungi and many prokaryotes are unable to synthesize their organic compounds to use as food. Therefore, they are known as heterotrophs. Heterotrophic organisms have to acquire and take in all the organic substances they need to survive. Now, heterotrophic nutrition को 3 कैटेगरी में क्लासिफाई किया गया है: होलोजोइक न्यूट्रिशन, सैप्रोफाइटिज्म एंड पैरासिटिज्म. अब होलोजिक न्यूट्रिशन में क्या होता है, ऑर्गेनिज्म जो है वो फीड करेगा बाय इंजेस्टिंग सॉलिड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर, और ये ऑर्गेनिक मैटर है ऑर्गेनिज्म की बॉडी में डाइजेस्ट एंड एब्जॉर्ब किया जाएगा. एग्जाम्पल वी ह्यूमंस, एनिमल्स एंड इंसेक्टिवोरस प्लांट्स. सेप्रोफाइटिज्म में क्या होता है कि ऑर्गेनिज्म है वो डेड एंड डीकेइंग मैटर पे सर्वाइव करेगा. एग्जाम्पल बैक्टीरिया एंड फंगाई. They digest the food externally before the nutrients are absorbed. And the last is parasitism. Now, ये organisms they obtain nutrition from the living organism. Dead नहीं but living organism. The parasite obtain nutrition by living on or in the body of the host. वो अपने host की body के ऊपर रहता है या body के अंदर रहता है. But the host is living. Example fleas, lice and tapeworms. Okay, here is your assignment time. You have to write down the difference between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition और आपको WhatsApp ग्रुप में इसे सेंड करना है.